Right, I'm here to say a few words about Jeff Sacktig. And the first thing I really want to say about not just Jeff, but the commitment that his family had to the drum corps. Jimmy, John, Annette, Eileen, and Jeff. That's pretty cool for a family to make that commitment to the drum corps. Jeff started his marching, or I should say playing, in 1977 with Blue Max. Is that correct? Yeah. I got one thing right. Good for me. And then at 15 in 1983, he joined the Sunrisers. Now, I don't have a clue how Jeff stayed in the Sunrisers because he marched next to me. And he had to deal with me, and I had no clue. And when when Jeff comes up here, which is really nice, he was this big. Now he's up here, and I can't figure it out. I don't know what happened, because I was the older guy. I was the senior guy. Anyway, there is a rumor, and I don't know how true this is, when Jeff finished his career with the Sunrisers, he went to the Cadets, and there is a rumor out there that at rehearsals he was told that he played too loud, and the Cadets don't play that senior style loud. Now, it just happened to be that Jeff, Jan Herring, and myself were in a second sopranos, and we were always being yelled at for playing loud. And it was always this voice in the background going, "Come on, guys, let's piss Pete off. Play louder, play louder." I don't know who that was. Anyway, Jeff did so much for the Corps. He taught the Corps one summer. He just was there just about all the time. And being a true Sunriser, which everybody knows how difficult it is when you make a commitment, but when you're working so much with other drum corps, he would come back and he actually filled spots, marched the season, helped us out when he saw that we needed help. And I think that you should give him a real big hand for that, because he came back and really helped the Corps. '86, he went to the Cadets, and in 86 through 89, is that correct? Okay. And then after he taught, he wrote. And he wrote. And he wrote. And he became the standard that everybody wanted to be. He's now been with Crown for about 10 years. And just a short story on my part, when I came to drum corps, I was fortunate enough to know people like Ralph Pace, Pete Emmons. I'm trying to think now that I'm on court here. Clark Williams was another one. Zingale was one. Sylvester. Let me just tell you, there is absolutely no one, and there never will be anyone that has accomplished and will accomplish more than Jeff Sacktig has done in his short career, because I know he has many years to come. He's just been phenomenal. He has a passion for people learning and or experienced individuals. He never, ever, will you ever see Jeff just half-ass it, excuse my language, but you won't. Everything he does is just top-notch. And that's proven because he has taught drum corps, senior and junior, by the way, champions in senior and junior, both marching in senior and junior. That's pretty amazing. He's taught marching bands all over the country and in Japan. He has taught indoor percussion and wrote, I'm sorry, I keep saying taught, but and wrote, indoor percussion and winds. I think the only color guard, thank you, I'm sorry, yes, thank you very much, WGI. I was going to mention that later, but thank you for interrupting while I'm talking. I think the only musical marching thing that Jeff has probably never wrote for is probably Doug Grunn's Other than that, he's just phenomenal. He's a phenomenal person. He's in the Hall of Fame for the cadets. He's in the DCI Hall of Fame. He's in the WGI Hall of Fame. He's in the World Drum Corps Hall of Fame. And now he's in the Sunriser Hall of Fame. Not a, you won't meet a better individual, you won't meet a more humble person, and you won't meet a more talented person than Jeff. So Jeff, we welcome you into the Sunriser Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I'm extremely honored and humbled to be recognized by the Sunrisers. You know, for me, it's a lifelong gig. So, you know, since I'm 9 years old, even prior to that, you know, I can't start speaking about anything until I thank my parents who met in drum corps in the 1940s. You know, my dad was in the junior corps that predates the Skyliners, Stevie Atkinson Hurst, and that was the corps that competed against the Garfield cadets, only named cadets back in the 40s. So I have pictures of my dad with the corps in the background that I also went from the Sunrisers and marched there. And my dad wasn't too happy when I decided to go to Sunrisers and Garfield, because it was like, it was a double whammy for him. But, you know, as all dads are, he supported me and my mom, and it was a family affair. Like, all my siblings are here. And, you know, my path to the Sunriser is interesting because my local drum corps folded, the Blue Max. I was in there from 1977 to 82, and they were kind of on a down spurt. And it's funny because my brother John marched into Crofton in 80 through 82, and I hopped on the second tour trying to get a spot. I was 14 years old, but I ended up putting out flags and rifles for the color guard on side one. You know, that was my gig, and we were up in Montreal for finals, and my sister Annette came up to pick us up to take us back, and kind of got stranded. So the Sunrisers were up there. It was like Sunrisers, a couple of senior corps were up there performing the next day, and so we hitched a ride back with the Sunrisers. You know. And what was just interesting, my sister Annette met Dave China, and they became a couple. And then she decided to join, you know. And instead of me going to a junior corps, I went with her and my brother Jimmy and marched in the Sunrisers in 1983. So it's an interesting route for me to get there. I've always had aspirations to go further, you know, as my brother, you know, did in junior corps. And I spent, you know, 3 years full summers with the Sunrisers, and believe me, I was one of the younger ones at 15 years old, and I saw some things I probably shouldn't have seen. It's not like it is today, you know, like the Sunrisers today is basically all high school students, right? I would think there was like, the horn line and the percussion thing, there were at least, you know, in their 20s and 30s. I think the color guard probably had a few high school kids, you know, but then, you know, they were doing winter guard. It was a different type of I mean, there was very separation back there, but I really felt I was around giants because I was small to begin with. You know, I did march next to Frank Ponzo, and he's been a good friend of mine to this day. And you know, some of the things for the Sunrisers for me, like, was what stood out is I was this little kid, but I was a good horn player. You know what I mean? It was one of those things that once I started to pick up that horn, I never put it down. It was always out of the case. I played it nonstop, you know. And my dad said, "You got to put that horn away." I said, "No, this is all you. You start this. I want to be the best I can be." You know, so that's what I did. I played. So I auditioned for Screech. You know, I was 15, and I wasn't nervous. You know, because I played for 6 years, and I was like, "All right, I'm going to do what I came here to do." And he said, "You could be a lead player, but we got like 6 lead players, and I need a strong second." You know, I said, "Awesome. I'll play second." Me, Gary, and Jan played second. You know, it was 3 of us against maybe the 6 or 8 guys above us and the 6 or 8 guys on the other side of us. You know, and I think we held our own, which was cool. You know, I felt taken care of. I didn't, you know, I mean, even though there was some crazy things I saw, I mean, my brothers and sisters there, everyone kind of looked out for me. So I was really appreciative of going through that phase of adolescence and finding out who I was, you know. And part of that was like, continue on and doing other things. I moved on to teach March Cadets from 86 to 89, and I taught there from 90 to 2015. And I wrote that show for 20 years at the Cadets. And even when I stepped away to take care of a loved one, you know, I moved on and wrote for Crown, but I went back and I helped them the last couple of years that they were in, you know, that before they folded, to make sure they got back to the place that they need to be. I mentored the drill writer, and I made sure that those shows were worth it. Because it meant something to me. Just like the Sunrisers meant something to me all those years past, I went back, and after I taught or after I marched, I played. I even committed a summer to the Corps. You know, I was a visual caption head in 1992, and they gave me such a wonderful nickname. They called me Hitler Youth. That was my name, you know, because it goes after Steiny, who was Hitler back in the 80s when we marched, right? But I graciously accepted that with the honor that it was, because that drum corps was going to be good, you know. There was no way around it, you know. I threw Roz off the field, if you remember that. Roz wasn't behaving well, right? So that was the big thing, you know. This 22-year-old kid throwing people off the field because we needed to get stuff done. So, anyway, so, you know, my life through drum corps has been amazing. I'm still actively involved with it. I write drill for a living. I'm a drill writer. I write for a dozen marching bands around the country. I was just in Indianapolis this morning at the Bands of America Grand National Championships, but came back for here. Last week I was in San Antonio. Next week I'm going to stage 2 Winter Guard shows. And it's awesome to see the energy of the young people trying to be better. And that's what's addicting me to drum corps. I'm addicted to it, you know. So, and whenever I'm around that energy, I feel like $1 million, you know. And I'll do that until I can't do no more. Because it's important to me, you know, and it's important to the youth of America that we teach, because it's a special things activity. You guys all did it when you were younger. It was a special bond that we had with each other that made us feel like we were invincible, you know? And I'm just excited that I'm able to kind of experience that on a regular basis all the time, you know? It means the world to me. I remember I was sitting up there watching prelims yesterday, watching all these amazing bands from across the country. And I've been doing this so long, I know a lot of different people. And, you know, I made sure that if I had a relationship with somebody and I liked something, I got my phone out and I got on Facebook and I found them, I texted them, I said, hey man, great job with Bentonville. They're awesome. Great job with so-and-so, you know, because that's what we're about. The connectivity within the organizations and the, you know, relationship we make. It's important that we kind of support each other and make sure we're all looking out for one another. So, you know, it's amazing. I walk in this room and I see people that I've marched with, and it takes me back when I'm 15 years old. You know, I always feel that. So I was a little apprehensive coming here because I feel like a little kid. Like, great. I'll be a little kid. That's fine. I'm good with that. You know. Thank you all so much for the honor. Thank you for whoever nominated me. I don't even know who nominated me, and the people who voted me. Thank you so much. I want to congratulate all my fellow inductees. It's an honor to be inducted with you. Thank you so much. I live a blessed life. Thank you.